Dawn of Defiance. Commander Julian Blackwood stood at the viewport of the EDS Dauntless, watching distant stars glitter against the void. His fingers traced the cool metal railing as status reports flickered across nearby holoscreens. After years of preparation, everything hinged on the next few hours. "Commander," called out Lieutenant Marcus Rivera from his station, long-range sensors detecting Imperial signatures entering the outer system. Blackwood straightened his uniform, dark eyes fixed on the approaching contacts. The Empire had dismissed Earth as primitive, barely worth noting in their vast dominion. Their arrogance would be their undoing. "Time to arrival?" he asked, voice steady despite the tension coursing through the bridge. "Approximately 40 minutes at current velocity," Rivera responded, adjusting sensor parameters. "Looks like a standard scout formation, 3 corvettes and a light cruiser." First Officer Naomi Chen approached, tablet in hand. "Engineering reports the quantum shield matrix is at full capacity. Dr. Winters wants you to know her improvements are holding stable." Blackwood nodded. The quantum shields were just one of many innovations they developed in secret. While the Empire lounged in their technological superiority, Earth's scientists had been reverse engineering captured tech, finding ways to improve upon designs the Empire considered perfect. "All hands to battle stations," Blackwood ordered. "But keep our energy signature minimal. Let them think we're just another primitive patrol vessel." Warning lights pulsed as crew members moved with practiced efficiency. The Dauntless may have looked like a standard destroyer from the outside, but inside she was anything but conventional. "They're scanning us," announced Rivera. "Standard Imperial sweep, they're not even bothering with detail scans." "Perfect," Blackwood smiled grimly. "Tactical status?" Lieutenant Diana Frost responded from her weapons station, all systems masked and ready. Phase cannons charged but dormant. Quantum torpedoes loaded in shadow bays. The bridge fell silent as the Imperial ships grew from dots to distinct shapes on their screens. Their silver hulls gleamed with the casual arrogance of an empire that hadn't faced real opposition in centuries. "Incoming transmission," Rivera reported. "They're ordering us to power down and prepare for inspection." "Let them wait a moment," Blackwood said. "Let's see how they handle being ignored by primitives." The Imperial cruiser launched warning shots, plasma bolts deliberately missing the Dauntless by meters. Standard intimidation tactics. "Now they're threatening to disable our vessel," Rivera added, a hint of amusement in his voice. Blackwood allowed himself a small smile. "Send them our prepared response. Full submissive protocols, badly formatted, with plenty of transmission errors." The bridge crew suppressed chuckles as they broadcast the carefully crafted message, designed to reinforce every Imperial prejudice about Earth's technological backwardness. The Imperial ships moved closer, their formation loose and casual. They had no reason to expect resistance from a backward planet that barely had spaceflight. "They're within optimal range," Frost reported, her fingers hovering over her console. Blackwood took a deep breath. Humanity would only get one chance at surprise. "Lieutenant Frost, decloak the weapon systems. Lieutenant Rivera, drop the energy masking. Let's show them what a primitive planet can do." The Dauntless hummed as its true nature was revealed. Weapon ports appeared along its hull, quantum shields shimmered into visibility, and energy readings jumped to their true levels. "Imperial vessels are responding," Rivera called out. "They're scrambling to battle stations." "Too late," Blackwood said quietly. "Lieutenant Frost, you may fire when ready. Let's give the Empire something to think about." The Dauntless phase cannons fired, their beams passing straight through the Imperial shields as if they weren't there. The lead corvette's engines exploded, sending it spinning into darkness. Multiple Imperial distress calls detected, Rivera reported as chaos erupted among the enemy formation. Blackwood watched as his ship demonstrated just how dangerous a primitive planet could be. The real battle was yet to come, this was merely the opening move. But after today, the Empire would never underestimate Earth again. "Bring us about," he ordered. "Let's show them what else we've learned while they weren't paying attention." The hidden edge. The aftermath of the initial engagement left 3 disabled Imperial vessels drifting in space. Dr. Lyra Winters paced through the dauntless engine room, monitoring displays as data streamed in from their first real combat test. "Power fluctuations are within expected parameters," she muttered, brushing a strand of graying hair from her face. The quantum shield matrix hummed around them, its revolutionary design proving its worth against Imperial weapons. "Dr. Winters," Commander Blackwood's voice came through the intercom. "Status report on the phase cannon cooldown?" She checked the relevant displays. 5 minutes until full recharge. "The heat dissipation systems are performing better than simulations predicted." "Good. Because we're about to have company." Lyra rushed to her main console as new alerts flashed across the screen. Long-range sensors showed multiple Imperial signatures, a full battle group responding to their scouts' distress calls. "Commander," she called back, "I'm seeing some unusual readings from the quantum core. The battle stress may be causing unexpected interactions." In the 20 years since they'd recovered the crashed alien vessel in the Atacama Desert, Lyra had led the team responsible for understanding and improving upon its technology. The quantum core was their greatest achievement, and their biggest mystery. "Can you stabilize it?" Blackwood asked, tension evident in his voice. "Already working on it." Her fingers flew across the holographic interface. "Rajesh, redirect power from sections 3 through 7. We need to balance the quantum field." Her assistant, Rajesh Patel, moved quickly between control stations. They'd spent countless hours preparing for this moment, but theory and practice were very different things. Multiple Imperial ships entering weapons range, the tactical officer's voice echoed through the ship. Detecting energy builds consistent with heavy weaponry. Lyra kept working, even as the deck vibrated beneath her feet from incoming fire. The quantum shields held, but each impact created ripples in the core's stability. "Dr. Winters," Blackwood called again. "We need the phase cannons at full power." 2 minutes, she responded, watching energy levels climb. "But Commander, there's something else. The quantum core is responding to the Imperial weapons in ways we haven't seen before." She studied the readings, her eyes widening. The core's energy pattern was shifting, adapting, learning from each impact. It was behaving less like a power source and more like. "Commander," she said urgently, "I don't think this technology was ever meant to be just a weapon. The patterns I'm seeing, they're similar to neural networks." "Explain quickly, Doctor. We're a little busy up here." Lyra took a deep breath. "The core isn't just powering our systems, it's evolving them. Each engagement teaches it more about Imperial technology. It's not just a power source, it's an adaptive defense system." The ship shuddered again as another volley struck their shields. But this time, Lyra watched in fascination as the quantum field restructured itself, becoming stronger where the Empire's weapons were focused. "Phase cannons at full power," she reported. "And Commander, I recommend targeting their lead destroyer's port shield generator. The core has identified a resonance frequency that should multiply our weapon's effectiveness." There was a pause before Blackwood responded. "You're sure about this?" "As sure as I can be about technology we're still learning to understand." She checked the readings again. "The core wants to help us, Commander. I think that's what it was designed for." "Very well. Lieutenant Frost, target that shield generator. Doctor, stand by to analyze the results." Lyra held her breath as the phase cannons fired. The beam struck exactly where she'd indicated, and the effect was beyond even her expectations. The Imperial destroyer's shields didn't just fail, they collapsed in a cascade of energy that disabled half its weapon systems. My God, Blackwood breathed. What exactly have we gotten ourselves into? Lyra stared at the streams of data flowing across her screens. Commander, I don't think the question is what we've gotten into. I think the real question is, who left this technology for us to find? And why? Before anyone could respond, new alarms blared throughout the ship. Lyra's console exploded with warnings as the quantum core's energy levels suddenly spiked. Doctor? Blackwood's voice was sharp with concern. The core is reacting to something, she said, fingers dancing across controls. Some kind of signal. Commander, there's another ship out there. And it's using technology just like ours. Trial by fire. The unknown signal pulsed through space, making the quantum core resonate like a struck bell. Commander Blackwood watched as a new vessel emerged from the darkness between stars, its design unlike anything human or imperial. Energy readings are off the charts, Rivera reported, his voice hushed. Their quantum signature matches our core exactly. The mysterious ship hung motionless, observing the battle but not yet interfering. Its hull seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, creating an unsettling void in space. Commander, Frost called from tactical, Imperial forces are regrouping. 3 destroyers and their support craft are moving to surround us. Blackwood considered their options. The Dauntless had proven its worth, but they were still outnumbered. And now this unknown vessel added a dangerous variable to an already complex situation. Incoming transmission, Rivera announced. From the unknown ship. Before Blackwood could respond, a hologram materialized on the bridge. The figure stood nearly 7 feet tall, its form seeming to shift and flow like liquid metal. When it spoke, its voice resonated at frequencies that made the deck plates vibrate. You wield our legacy with surprising skill, humans, it said. But you face forces beyond your understanding. I am Commander Julian Blackwood of Earth, he responded, standing tall. And we understand enough to defend our home. The being's surface rippled. Do you? The Empire is merely the surface of a deeper conflict. Our technology was not meant for. Multiple explosions cut off its words as the Imperial forces launched their attack. The Dauntless rocked under the impact of coordinated fire from all sides. Shields holding at 60%, Frost reported. But they're concentrating fire on our starboard quarter. Dr. Winters, Blackwood called to engineering, we need more power to the shields. The core is responding strangely to that ship's presence, she replied. It's like they're communicating somehow. The alien figure watched the battle unfold, its expression unreadable. You have a choice, Commander. Cease using our technology, and we will ensure Earth's safety through other means. With all due respect, Blackwood replied as he ordered evasive maneuvers, Earth makes its own choices now. The being inclined its head. Then you must face the consequences of those choices. The alien ship suddenly moved, its drive technology letting it cross vast distances instantly. It positioned itself between the Dauntless and the Imperial fleet. Multiple energy spikes. Rivera shouted. They're powering weapons. But the alien vessel didn't fire. Instead, it projected some kind of field that caused Imperial weapons to fail when they passed through it. The being turned to Blackwood again. This is your one chance to withdraw. The path you're on leads to. Sir. Frost interrupted. One of the Imperial destroyers is making a run at our position. They're diverting all power to weapons. Blackwood had seconds to decide. The alien offered protection, but at the cost of Earth's independence. The Empire threatened destruction, but facing them would mean truly committing to this path of technological advancement. Dr. Winters, he called, can you give me full power to the phase cannons? Yes, she replied, but the core is becoming increasingly unstable. One more major power draw could have unpredictable consequences. The alien figure's surface roiled. You don't understand what you're risking. No, Blackwood agreed, but we understand what we're fighting for. Lieutenant Frost, target that destroyer's command center. Full power to forward weapons. The Dauntless phase cannons charged, drawing deep from the quantum core's power. The alien ship maintained its defensive field, but made no move to stop them. Fire, Blackwood ordered. The phase cannons released their energy in a blinding beam that struck the Imperial destroyer dead center. For a moment, nothing happened. Then reality itself seemed to bend around the impact point. Quantum cascade detected. Rivera shouted. Some kind of chain reaction. The Imperial destroyer didn't just explode, it collapsed in on itself, creating a brief but intense gravitational distortion that pulled in two nearby support ships. The alien being's form became completely still. So it begins, it said quietly. You've taken the first step down a path that will reshape this galaxy. We cannot protect you from what comes next. With that, both the figure and its ship vanished, leaving the Dauntless facing the remaining Imperial forces. But something had changed. The Empire's ships were pulling back, their formation tight and defensive. They're retreating, Frost reported, surprise evident in her voice. No, Blackwood said grimly, watching the Imperial ships disappear into hyperspace. They're regrouping. This was just the beginning. In engineering, Dr. Winter's voice came through filled with concern. Commander, you need to see these readings. The quantum core, it's evolving faster than ever. Whatever we just did out there, it changed something fundamental in its structure. Blackwood stared at the empty space where the alien ship had been. They had won their first major battle, but at what cost? And what had they truly begun? Echoes of the past. Deep in the Dauntless engineering section, Dr. Winters and her team worked frantically to understand the quantum core's accelerated evolution. Holographic displays showed energy patterns spiraling in ways that defied conventional physics. The neural network is expanding exponentially, Rajesh reported, monitoring streams of data. It's like the combat experience triggered some kind of dormant protocol. Before Lyra could respond, an alert flashed across her main screen. The core's temperature was rising despite their best cooling efforts. More concerning were the faint whispers of sound emanating from it, something between music and mathematics. Commander Blackwood arrived, his uniform showing signs of the recent battle. Talk to me, Doctor. What exactly are we dealing with? The core isn't just powering our systems anymore, she explained, bringing up complex diagnostic displays. It's remembering. Each engagement teaches it more, but it's not just learning about Imperial technology. It's recovering its original purpose. The core pulsed with a deep blue light, its quantum field extending throughout the ship in ways their sensors could barely track. Crew members reported strange phenomena, ghost images in corridors, echoes of conversations no one had spoken. Commander, Rivera's voice came through the intercom, long-range sensors are detecting unusual gravitational distortions. They match the pattern from when that destroyer collapsed. Blackwood frowned. Natural phenomena? No, sir. They're appearing in a specific pattern, almost like a trail. Lyra studied the new data, her eyes widening. It's calling to others like it. The quantum core, it's part of a network that spans the galaxy. Those distortions are like quantum breadcrumbs. Leading where? Blackwood asked, though his expression suggested he already suspected the answer. To wherever these beings came from, she replied. Commander, I don't think they left this technology for us to find by accident. They were waiting to see what we'd do with it. The ship's lights flickered as the core surged again. This time, the whispers it produced formed clear words in a language none of them recognized, yet somehow understood. The path is open. The choice remains. multiple Imperial signatures detected. Rivera's urgent voice cut through the moment. They're launching a coordinated attack from 3 vectors. Blackwood rushed back to the bridge, leaving Lyra and her team to manage the increasingly active core. The tactical display showed dozens of Imperial ships emerging from hyperspace, their formation designed to trap the Dauntless. They've adapted their shields, Frost reported. Our previous targeting solutions won't be as effective. The Empire had learned from their losses. This attack would be different, methodical, relentless, with no room for error. But they weren't the only ones who had evolved. The quantum core hummed with newfound purpose, its energy flowing through the ship like liquid light. Display screens filled with tactical data that no one had entered, the core was analyzing the Imperial fleet, identifying weaknesses that even their own sensors couldn't detect. "Dr. Winters," Blackwood called, "are you seeing this?" "Yes," she replied, her voice filled with wonder and concern. "The core isn't just defending us anymore. It's showing us how to fight back." "But Commander, these power levels aren't sustainable. We're approaching theoretical limits that shouldn't even be possible." The Imperial fleet opened fire, their coordinated barrage designed to overwhelm the Dauntless quantum shields. But something extraordinary happened. Rather than simply absorbing or deflecting the attacks, the shields began to resonate at the same frequency as the enemy weapons, creating a feedback loop that sent the energy back to its source. "By all the stars," Rajesh breathed, watching the data stream past. "The core isn't just learning, it's teaching us." Through the quantum field, knowledge began to flow into the ship's computers, not just about weapons and defenses, but about the nature of space, time, and reality itself. It was as if the core had decided that humanity had proven worthy of its creator's legacy. But with that knowledge came danger. As the battle raged around them, the core's temperature continued to climb. Warnings blared throughout engineering as systems approached critical limits. "Commander," Lyra called out, her voice urgent. "We need to make a decision. The core is trying to show us something important. But accessing that knowledge could tear the ship apart." The Imperial fleet pressed their attack, clearly aware that something unprecedented was happening aboard the Earth vessel. They had to choose, retreat and preserve what they had learned, or push forward into unknown territory that could either save or destroy them. In that moment, as reality itself seemed to bend around the Dauntless, they stood at a crossroads. The next decision would determine not just the outcome of this battle, but humanity's place in a universe far stranger and more wonderful than they had imagined. Turning point. The Dauntless hung suspended between fate and choice, as the quantum core's energy coursed through its hull like liquid starlight. Commander Blackwood stood at his post, watching as reality rippled around his ship. "Core temperature critical," Dr. Winters reported from engineering. "Whatever knowledge it's trying to share, we have minutes at most before containment fails." The Imperial fleet maintained their attack pattern, but their weapons' fire seemed to move in slow motion through the distorted space around the Dauntless. The quantum field had created a bubble of altered time, giving them precious moments to decide. "Show me," Blackwood ordered. "Show us what you've been trying to tell us." The bridge erupted in light as the core responded. Holographic displays merged into a single vast image, a map of the galaxy unlike anything they had seen before. Quantum threads connected distant stars, showing paths through space that didn't follow normal physical laws. "It's a network," Lyra breathed, her voice filled with awe. "The ancients didn't just build weapons, they created a quantum web connecting everything in the galaxy. The core isn't just a power source, it's a key to that network." Rivera's console suddenly lit up with new data. "Sir, I'm detecting energy signatures matching our core, hundreds of them, scattered throughout the galaxy. Some active, some dormant, but all connected. The Empire," Blackwood realized, "they don't know about this network. That's why the ancients left their technology for others to find. They were building a resistance before it was needed." The core pulsed again, stronger this time. Through its quantum link, they could sense other awakening cores across space, on forgotten worlds, in hidden bases, aboard ships of species they had never met. Each one responding to the Dauntless activation, each one choosing whether to join the connection. Multiple hull breaches imminent, Frost warned. We can't contain this level of power much longer. Blackwood faced a decision that would echo through history. The core offered access to power beyond imagination, but using it could destroy them. The Empire's fleet drew closer, their weapons ready to end Earth's resistance once and for all. "Dr. Winters," he called, "can we stabilize the core if we distribute its energy through the quantum network?" "Yes, theoretically. But we'd be linking ourselves to technology we barely understand, created by beings whose motives we can only guess at." The ship shuddered as another Imperial barrage struck their shields. But this time, something was different. The quantum field wasn't just defending them, it was reaching out, touching the Imperial ship systems, offering them a choice too. "Energy spike in the Imperial fleet," Rivera reported. "Their quantum signatures are changing, evolving." Through the core's connection, they could sense it, awareness spreading through the Empire's ships as ancient dormant systems activated. The network wasn't about destruction, it was about transformation. "That's why the ancients left," Lyra said softly. "They weren't abandoning the galaxy. They were giving younger species a chance to choose their own path." Blackwood made his decision. "Doctor, initialize the network connection." "Lieutenant Frost, prepare to broadcast on all frequencies." The core's light filled the ship as they connected fully to the quantum web. Through it, Blackwood addressed not just the Imperial fleet, but every species that could receive the signal. "For too long, the galaxy has been divided by fear and power. The ancients left us more than weapons, they left us a choice. Today, we choose connection over conquest, understanding over dominance. The network belongs to all of us, or none of us." One by one, ships in the Imperial fleet went dark, then reactivated with new purpose. The quantum network spread, offering its gift of knowledge and connection to all who would accept it. The battle ended not with destruction, but with transformation. The Empire's grip on the galaxy loosened as species after species awakened to their connection through the quantum web. Earth's primitive destroyer hadn't just proved them wrong, it had changed the rules of the game entirely. As the Dauntless core finally stabilized, integrated into the vast network it had helped awaken, Blackwood looked out at the stars. They glittered differently now, connected by invisible quantum threads that promised a new age of exploration and discovery. "Your orders, Commander?" Rivera asked. Blackwood smiled. "Set a course for the nearest quantum signal. We have a galaxy of new allies to meet." And so humanity took its place among the stars, not as conquerors or victims, but as awakeners, the species that had understood the true power of connection over conflict. The Empire's mighty ships had been humbled not by superior firepower, but by the courage to choose a different path. The real journey was just beginning.